What's up, beauties? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks. What's crazy is I have another video that's already uploaded on my channel. It's just private right now because I have to make a thumbnail for it, but I actually wanted to do this video and get this video out first. So if you don't know me, my name is Tia Simone, and over on this channel right here we do makeup, everything beauty, and commentary. It's super fun to actually do makeup and just chit chat and analyze, you know, drama that's going on in the YouTube community. And as you guys know, there's a lot going on right now, a lot of stuff, and I plan on talking about everything. Obviously I can't do that in one video. So if you like what you hear and you love makeup and you love chit chatting about things that are going on, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a big thumbs up. And yes, so a quick disclaimer, you're gonna hear my little 5-year-old in the background, my little angel. He is just playing, but he'll be running back and forth, and that's one of the reasons why I chose not to do makeup for this specific video. For one, I filmed a video about this last night and I didn't like the way it turned out because there's so much going on with this whole self-taught beauty situation that it's too hard for me to focus on what's going on because there's so many people involved and do my makeup. So I just wanted today's video to be about the commentary, and the next video that's coming out obviously will be makeup and commentary as usual, back to business. But you will hear him in the background. I'm sorry if it, I don't know, makes you mad. It shouldn't. It's always fun to hear a little child in the background laughing, and that's all he's doing. But we're gonna jump into it. Grab your coffee. That's all we're gonna be doing. We're just gonna be chit-chatting and talking about this situation. Okay, so I hope you guys grabbed your coffee, your tea, your beer, wine, whatever it is that you wanted to grab. And this is a very sensitive subject for me. It's very sensitive, it's very sentimental, and I'm going to tell you guys why in a minute. But that's why I just wanted the focus to be on the commentary about this, because it is so sensitive. Anybody who is in the situation that Self-Taught Beauty is in, regardless of whether people think she's a scammer or not, anybody in that situation, it becomes very serious, and people become very defensive and emotions get involved. It's very hard to take your emotions, even as a critical thinker like myself, and if you guys are critical thinkers, it's very, very hard to take your emotions out of this situation because you're dealing with poverty, homeless, a homeless person who has 2 kids. Obviously her children are adults, young adults, but they're still her children, you know. So Self-Taught Beauty, if you don't know who Self-Taught Beauty is, she is a self-taught makeup artist, and normally she does what is it, she does like Ipsy subscriptions, and I don't know, she kind of tells what happens, like what's coming out with Ipsy before it comes out, and she talks about Ipsy and all those brands. I don't do that. I don't need to feed my addiction anymore when it comes to makeup, so I don't buy Ipsy or glam bags or any of that kind of stuff. But that's normally what her channel is. I think sometimes she does some makeup tutorials, and she has 14,000 subscribers, which is a very good number. I think she's been on YouTube for about 3 or 4 years, and I wanted to immerse myself in watching her channel. Now, I'm not going to say I watched her Ipsy videos because I did not. So I don't know if she talked about things aside from Ipsy in any of her Ipsy videos. I just specifically focused on the videos where she is talking about herself and her situation. So Self-Taught Beauty, she was married, and I don't know much about her, and I don't want to say much about her. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say what she says on her channel. She was married and she was in an abusive relationship. She doesn't speak much about it because Her ex-husband isn't there to defend himself, which I respect that. So she doesn't speak much about it, but she does mention that she was in an abusive relationship, which is another sentimental, touchy subject in itself. And also her house burned down. I don't know the date of when her house burned down. You can leave it down in the comments below. I know that it was fairly recent, maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Because all of this has been going on with Self-Taught Beauty for the past 2 years now. And she's been on YouTube for 3 years. So there was some normalcy for her in the first year that she started YouTube, and then the last 2 years she has been struggling. Her house burned down, and then her ex-husband ended up leaving her, and she got another place and got evicted from that place that she was in. And now she is technically homeless. However, she lives in a shed. She lives in a shed on her property. I'm pretty sure where her house was burned down at, but I could be wrong about that. But she does live in a shed, and she lives in a shed with her and her 2 boys. She has 2 boys. One is 18 and the other one is 20, if I'm not mistaken. So they're, you know, young adults. And the past 2 years, because Self-Taught Beauty has been going through these struggles, she has been relying a lot on her subscribers to give donations. Well, since this has been going on for the past 2 years, and 2 years is a long time to continuously ask for donations from your subscribers, a lot of her subscribers have become concerned that she is scamming her supporters. I don't think that Radiant Brit is the first person that did a video about her, and we will get on the subject about Radiant Brit shortly, because I have my opinion about everyone in this situation. But Radiant Brit is one of the first videos that I seen where she kind of brought this to light, because a lot of Radiant Brit subscribers were emailing her, messaging her, telling her, can you please look into Self-Taught Beauty? So Radiant Brit was the first person to kind of call this out, and basically more or less insinuated that she thinks that Self-Taught Beauty is a scammer. There's a lot of questionable things, and there's definitely some questionable things that there is definitely a reason as to why Self-Taught Beauty subscribers should be concerned, okay? And Self-Taught Beauty's name is Mandy, so you'll probably hear me say Mandy more than Self-Taught Beauty. But a lot of Self-Taught Beauty's, you know, her supporters, the reason what they're concerned is validated. You know, 2 years is a very long time to ask for donations from your subscribers. No matter which way you want to put it, that's a very, very long time, you know. I'm going to get into a little bit of why this is so sentimental for myself, okay? In 2012, my mother passed away from ovarian cancer, and it is still a struggle for me till this day, because my mother was my everything. She was my best friend, probably the only true friend that I ever really had. She was always there for me. I'm her only daughter. I have 2 other brothers, but they are older and they moved out when I was a baby. So it was always just me and my mom, and she was my everything. My mom was my everything, my bestest friend, and my mother spoiled me. And I wouldn't say that me and Self-Taught Beauty, our situations are similar, but in a lot of ways it is, because ultimately what it comes down to is I didn't know how to live without my mother. I didn't know how to be an adult without my mother, because I always had my mother there to help me. My mom had me in her late 40s, and a lot of people would tell my mother, you better quit spoiling that girl, you better quit spoiling that girl. But my mom looked at me like her little princess, and she just couldn't help it. She had boys all, you know, for a long time, and then she finally gets her little girl. And I get it. I have 3 boys. If I was to have a little girl with my fiance, I can't say that I wouldn't do the same as my mother did, because ultimately my mother was the best mother that I could ever ask for. God blessed me with the most amazing mother in this entire world, and I would never ever sit here and say that she should have done different. I guess she probably should have, you know, toughened me up a little more, but I was her daughter. I was her baby. I was her little princess. So it was hard when my mother passed. It took me a long time to get up on my feet. And when my mother passed, the world turned very cold when my mother passed. My mother was the most humble, beautiful, classy, elegant woman that you would ever meet. You know, think of Beyonce. And my mother was the older version of Beyonce. My mother had everything. She loved her diamonds. She loved her furs, which I don't like furs, but my mother was very classy, elegant, but yet very humble and deserving of everything that she had. And she worked hard her whole life. So it wasn't just me who lost my mother. My 2 brothers lost my mother. My mother has 4 sisters. They lost her. My mother has 4 brothers. They lost her. You know, my mother had a husband. He lost her. So I had to look at it like that. And because of that, after my mother passed, I isolated myself from my family. I'm going to go into an in-depth video about this because it's important. And I do feel like I started my channel most of all to uplift women, and I do think that this can be a very inspiring story. But I'm just telling you guys little bits and pieces of it. And when my mother passed, I isolated myself from my family because I didn't want to be a burden to my family. I did not want my family worrying about me because they were grieving just like I was. You can't compare how one person grieves to another, you know. The only difference is it took me a very long time to get out of the way that I was. I was like a walking, talking zombie, and I finally decided to go to counseling and everything like that. But regardless, because I turned away from my family, I lost a lot. You know, I lost a lot. I had 2 boys. At that time, I only had 2 boys depending on me. So I moved in with a roommate that I thought was my friend. I was just getting deeper and deeper in the hole, and I didn't have anybody to turn to. So I was definitely very, very close to being homeless. When I decided to leave the last roommate that I lived with, and I thought she was my friend, and I found out the hard way that she wasn't, it was me and my boys living in a hotel. And we were living in a hotel for a couple days. And what I didn't know is that a lot of my family was worried about me after my mom passed. I separated myself from my family. I wanted to leave them alone and grieve on my own. I didn't want them to have to worry about me. But I didn't have a choice at that moment. Like, I was living in a hotel. I was doing the best that I could, but I had to do something. And I finally turned to my family. And thank God for my aunt. She stepped in and lifted me up and gave me the tools that I needed to survive and to be a good mother and to be independent, which is something that I wasn't used to because I always had my mother. I could be independent, but if I was to get into any kind of hole, I had my mother to fall back on. Now I didn't have anybody. So my aunt came in, she stepped in, she helped us. We moved in with her for a while, and then my brother stepped in. My brother, my older brother, and I lived with him for a few months until I got back up on my feet. And it might have even been longer than a few months, but I had to turn to my family because at that moment I realized that my family was what I needed. They were the ones that were going to tell me the truth. They were the ones that were going to tell me the things that I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear those things. And it's the best decision I ever made because I don't know where I would be had I not called. I would probably be in the same position, if not worse, than self-taught beauty. And now I'm in a much better place, and I met the love of my life. My kids are my everything. You know, I keep God in my life first and foremost because I owe everything to God. When I thought everybody left my side, no matter what, God was always there, right? So I will tell my story, and like I said, ultimately I'm at a good place in my life, and I don't ever want to go back to where I was. And watching Self-Taught Beauty, I can relate to her in a lot of ways because it just looks like she can't. It's not that she can't. It's that When you dig yourself so far, and it's not that you're digging yourself, but you are digging yourself. You're digging yourself into a hole when you wait for things to happen instead of making things happen. Does that make any sense? And when you get so deep in that hole, you don't know how to climb your way out of it. Some people do. Some people have that. But some other people, it's harder for them. It's very, very hard. Just like a lot of people would say to me, you know, I know you're grieving your mother, but you have to get over that. You have 2 kids to take care of. It's easy for people to judge. It's easy for people to say things to you, especially if they've never been there. And I think that's the problem when it comes to Radiant Brits and anybody else who is commentating and giving their opinion about Self-Taught Beauty and her situation. If you've never been there and you've never even been close to going through what she's going through, then guess what? You don't know how it is. And it's obvious that Self-Taught Beauty was never really given the tools in life to be an adult and know how to function like an adult and pay bills. And in order to pay bills, you have to get a job. And then it doesn't help her when her subscribers are giving her money, because I don't care if it's $5, $10, $25, if whatever amount of money that she's getting, it's still helping her. It might not be helping her out of her situation, but it's helping her be comfortable in her situation. You're never going to be comfortable living in a shed, okay? Nobody's ever going to be comfortable living in a shed, 100% comfortable. Not 100%. But if you're getting money here and there from your supporters, it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier to live in that shed than versus having to live on the streets. Do you guys get what I'm saying? You have to think of things that way. Because even though it may not be comfortable for her to live in a shed and she wants to get out of that shed, she may not be getting enough money to get out of that shed, but she's still getting enough money to get by to be in that shed. That's not motivating her to want to leave that shed. The only way that she's going to want to get up and leave that shed is if she's getting nothing except for being able to get food. She does get EBT, which is great. That's a wonderful thing. But I'm saying that's the only way. That's the only thing. The only way that you're going to be motivated to want to change your life is when you hit rock bottom. For some people, they don't have to hit rock bottom. But for others are different. That's the main thing that I think people don't understand. Everyone is different. Everyone's thought process is different. And everyone functions differently when it comes to catastrophes. When it comes to different things that happen in your life, people are different. Some people adapt. Some people can dig themselves out of a hole. Some people need encouragement. Some people don't need encouragement. Every person is different. And it doesn't make one better than the other. The deeper you get in the hole from doing nothing, the more it unmotivates you. I'm not going to lie. It makes you want to lay there and not do anything. It does, because you get depressed and you're so deep that you get so overwhelmed with your thoughts and everything that you have to do. And you're just like, oh my God, where do I start? What do I do? And that's how some people get. I was like that to a certain extent. I knew that I had to get up and get out of feeling sorry for myself and focus on one thing at a time, you know. And at that time, I didn't have my license. I still don't now, but I got around. I figured out whatever it is that I had to do to get to work, to save money, to get a place for my boys, to build a better life for myself and my boys. I did whatever the fuck it was that it took. Now, my boys at that time were 3 and 14. So it's completely different than her situation as far as her boys. Her boys are self-efficient. They can function and they can be perfectly fine on their own. A lot of people ask, why doesn't she go to a shelter? Because if she was to go to a shelter, she would stay. I think she would be able to stay there for a certain amount of time and then they would help her. get back up on her feet. But she doesn't want to go there because they have rules, and women and men aren't allowed to sleep in the same facility, I think. That was what she said, and which is understandable. That's very understandable. And her boys would have to be somewhere else. But her boys are 18 and 20. This woman, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to her family, she's the same, says the same thing I said. She doesn't want to burden her family. I know that there were people that reached out to her family and they didn't want to speak about it, which is a concern to me, because why don't they want to talk about their daughter living in a shed? That's weird. That's something's off about that, but every parent is different as well. There are some things that are questionable, but it's not fair for me to sit here and assume that she's scamming everybody, because I know how it is. I've been there. Maybe not where she's at, but I was pretty damn close to being where she's at. And like I said, if not worse. So I can't sit here and say, oh, she's a scammer. And she's definitely. What I will say is, she's definitely, in my opinion, taking advantage of her subscribers. In my opinion. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there are certain situations and instances that has happened, and that has been proven by the not so evil stepmother, that has shown that when your subscribers are donating to you, especially if it's a large sum, I know that she said one of her son's dog was paralyzed. She took this dog to the vet and she asked for donations, and if I'm not mistaken, a subscriber sent her $300. And then weeks later, come to find out, her son nor she has this pet anymore, and she didn't even say on her video what happened with this dog that was paralyzed, and she didn't even give any kind of transparency as to what she did with that $300. So here's the thing: when a subscriber is sending you that amount of money, even if you message them personally, which this subscriber said she never got a message personally, nothing, people deserve to know what you're doing with that money. People deserve to know that. I don't care what anybody says. If I donate $100 to $200 to Self-Taught Beauty for any specific thing, if she comes on there and says that she needs, I don't know, for an example, she needs something that is a life or death situation, I don't know, and I send that to her, and then 2 weeks later she's on her video, she's on YouTube talking nothing about that donation that I sent her, giving me an update on what happened. Did she end up purchasing? I'm going to be pissed off, because you're sitting here on your video saying that you need something specifically. I, as a subscriber, care about you, because what people don't understand is you develop a bond with your subscribers. The more and more I upload videos, and the more I see the dedicated people that are on my videos saying, oh, I'm so happy to see you uploaded, blah, 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 blah. You start building bonds with your subscribers, and that's a good thing. I don't care what anybody says. Subscribers are more than a number to me. For some people, they're just numbers. But to me, my subscribers mean something to me. Every single one of them. And I don't care when I have 400 and when I have 500,000. They're still going to mean something to me. And I would want to know what happened with that $200 that I sent you, where you said that you had to go get an inhaler. Let's say she had to get an inhaler or something, and she didn't have any money, and I was a subscriber that sent her the amount of money she needed to get that inhaler, and then I don't see her on her video for a week straight. I may email her and say, hey, what happened? Did you get that inhaler? I don't hear anything. And then 2 weeks later, she's on a video talking about an Ipsy glam bag. Do you think I'm not going to be upset about that? I'm going to be pissed off. And I'm going to be like, what happened? What's going on? Like, what happened to the inhaler? Did you get the inhaler? I'm going to be concerned. Don't tell me. I don't care. Every person is different. Some people spend money. Some people donate money and they don't care what that person does with it. If I donate money, I want to know where my money is going. Period. Because I work hard for my money just like everyone else. And if I'm going to donate to somebody out of the kindness of my heart because they are on a video saying that they need something important and I specifically send them the exact amount of money. Now, if I'm just randomly sending them something, I would honestly say I'm not going to randomly just send somebody hundreds of dollars. I'm not going to do that. I have 3 kids. I can't do that. And maybe there's some other people that can, and that's fine. There's some people that probably randomly send her things. Here's $20. Here's $30. Do whatever you want with it. But when there's something that's being asked specifically, like her dog that needed medical attention because he was paralyzed, and a subscriber, a supporter sent her that amount of money to take care of her dog, that subscriber has a right to know what happened with that dog. Just like I would want to know what happened when I sent you money for the inhaler, even though this is just an example. This is a very, very tough situation because I can honestly say it is not my place. Okay, even if you guys want to hear it, you're not going to hear out of me she's not really living in a shed, because nobody has the fucking proof. If you can prove to me that she doesn't live in a shed, well then fine. But nobody has the proof that she doesn't live in a shed. I know that there's been people making accusations about Self-Taught Beauty, saying that she's lying, but nobody has shown the proof. So until I see the proof, I am not in any place to sit here and judge this woman or say that this is not really happening. The only thing that I will say is, if you as subscribers and her supporters continue to send her money, even if it's randomly or if it's for a special thing that she asked for, because she's always asking for donations. If you have concerns about this woman being a scammer, then quit sending her money. And if you're going to continue to send her money, then shut up about it, because guess what? It is what it is. If you're stupid enough to continue sending this woman money, even though you find it questionable, the things that she's doing, that she might be a scammer, then guess what? That's on you. I don't feel as though she's scamming, but I'm not going to sit here and say with 100% that she's scamming. I'm not going to do it. Yes, I find some things questionable, but I also find that it's questionable how some people have been doing commentary about this woman. Because if you've never even been close to that position, there is no way that you can understand how hard it is to get out of a hole that you've been in for so long. As far as when it comes to that, you're not going to hear me say that this woman is a scammer. Now, coming in with the not so evil stepmother, which her name is Alex, I respect 100% what Alex chose to do when it comes to Mandy, when it comes to Self-Taught Beauty. I think it is very commendable. Could there be some things that Alex could have done differently? Yes, because I don't think that focusing on her license, and I could be wrong about this, this is just what Mandy's saying, but focusing on her license is not the main focus, and the primary focus should be getting her out of that shed. Okay, there are different means of transportation that I didn't know how to take a bus. I didn't have a car. I didn't know how to take a bus, but guess what? I learned. You know, there are definitely means of transportation that you can take when it comes to getting to and from the places that you need to be. But getting her out of that shed should be something that should be the main focus. So I understand, you know, what Mandy's talking about with that, but how unappreciative it is for Mandy to sit there and say that she never even watched the Not So Evil Stepmother's video addressing everything, but yet Mandy makes a video critiquing the things that she doesn't even know that the Not So Evil Stepmother said. Alex. that is so disrespectful, especially because Alex definitely went out of her way to help Mandy. And she deserved more respect than Mandy just getting on a video saying, well, I haven't watched her video. I don't want to watch her video, but here's what I have to say from what people are telling me about her video. That's ridiculous. You don't know what motives people have when they're emailing you, telling you, she said this, she said that. You can't go by hearsay when it comes to something like that. Watch the damn video. You could have given her at least that much of a respect, because she did help. This woman, to me, Self-Taught Beauty might not have liked the way that the not so evil stepmother was going about things, but to me, I feel like the only reason why Mandy didn't like what Alex was doing is because Alex wasn't doing what Mandy wanted her to do. And I know people don't understand this, and people can disagree with me all you want, but there are stipulations when it comes to help. When it comes to somebody taking time out of their life, taking time away from their children, their husband, their family to help you, there's always going to be stipulations. There's always going to be stipulations if people think you're a scammer. That's why Alex was doing what she was doing. I understand why Alex was, trying to get her ID and her license, because I guess she was going to be given a car, Mandy was. She was trying to give her the tools that she needed. Alex, the not so evil stepmother, was trying to give Mandy the tools that she needed to be successful. It's not going to do Self-Taught Beauty any good if she was to just say, okay, we're going to get you in a place and you're going to get first and last month's rent, and that's it. Because after 3 months of rent, then what are you going to do? You're going to end up right back where you started, if not worse, because then that shed could disappear and you won't even have a shed to go to. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to set her up with a job, things that she needed to be successful so she can have some consistency in life, and she's able to pay her rent and not have to go through this again. It's completely understandable. And to me, Self-Taught Beauty wants the money so she can do what she wants to do with it. But that's not working for you, sweetheart. You getting the money is the problem here. There needs to be somebody managing that money to help you so you're able to adult. And I think that's the biggest problem with Mandy. She cannot adult. I don't want to say she can't, because she's capable of doing anything if she wants to, but she needs those tools to survive in life, to take care of herself and her kids. But guess what? You need to be teaching your kids how to get out there and work. And everybody keeps saying, why don't those boys work? There are 3 grown-ass adults living in that shed, 2 of which are men. All I'm saying is that you guys cannot expect her to say that to her 2 boys when she's not even doing nothing. Okay, you guys, my camera went on me and I went and warmed up my coffee. I had to go warm it up, but that is kind of what I feel about that. I don't remember where I left off when my camera stopped, but that's how I feel. It's not my place to call this woman a scammer, but I do think and feel like people need to quit sending her money. The only way that this woman is ever going to want to do anything is when she begins to understand that the only way she's going to get out of this is by helping herself. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help herself. And that's what I would say to the not so evil stepmother. You tried, and I think it's very commendable what you've done. And I wish that I would have met somebody like you when I was going through what I was going through. And I'm sure you've heard that a lot, and I heard her say that when I heard her in her video when I was watching. I wish, because let me tell you, it's when you get in that hole, it's so hard. Life can be so hard, you know what I mean? And people can be so cold. And I'm gonna say to Mandy right now, I really feel as though you made a mistake by cutting Alex off like that. You are going to regret it. And I hope that you don't regret it, but this woman was trying to set you up to where you can be successful, not to set you up to fail. And that's what you're supposed to do. And I just feel like with Mandy, you know, with Self-Taught Beauty, she just wanted things to go her way. And that's not the way it works when somebody else is helping you. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with me. But when you are helping somebody, when somebody is helping you and they reach out to you and they say that they're going to help you, there are stipulations always. Especially if they feel like you're not helping yourself. They're going to say, okay, in order for me to help you, you have to do this. This is what my aunt said. Because I was kind of doing the same things that Mandy was doing. Like I said, when you get comfortable with just getting by, in your mind, mentally, you're okay with just getting by. So when I moved in with my aunt and she came and picked us up from that hotel, I wasn't doing nothing at first. I had a smartphone, but I didn't have my smartphone turned on. So in order for me to get Wi-Fi, I used to walk to the library, and my aunt lived right down the street from the library. Was I going to the library to fill out applications? No. I was going to the library to check my Facebook and check my Instagram and talk to people there. And there was this guy like back then, and I wanted to see if he was messaging me. That's what I was doing. So in order for me to snap back into reality, my aunt had to tell me, look, this is what's going to happen from now on. So my aunt had to snap me back into reality and say, look, if I'm going to help you and you're going to stay here, this is what you're going to have to do. And you're going to have to show me that you are putting in job applications. I want to see the paper. I want to see this. There are always stipulations when somebody reaches out to help you. So I feel like with Mandy, she didn't like those stipulations that Alex had, you know, and I don't even really think Alex had a lot of stipulations, but she wasn't just going to hand over money to Self-Taught Beauty just because that's what she wanted. That's not helping her. That wasn't helping her. Ultimately, that's how I feel about Self-Taught Beauty. It's not my place to call her a scammer. I'm not going to call her a scammer because there is no proof. There are questionable things. I honestly, like I said, and this is how I feel because y'all know I keep it 100. I don't feel that anybody should be sending her any kind of money until you see that she's helping herself. And if you're going to continue to send her money, don't get mad when she disappears for a while, then she comes back and doesn't even mention it. Don't get mad when you see nothing's happening, because you have to see some kind of will in her to want to help herself. And until you see that, nobody should be sending her anything. And that's just my opinion. And if anything, you should be sending her money maybe for food. I live in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? I don't know her, nor would I ever, like, you know, do something like that. I'm not saying that I never would, though. But I wouldn't until I seen her helping herself. I definitely would. You know, especially living in Ohio, my fiance and I would drive down there and try to help her, but not until she helps herself. There are definitely a lot of things that are questionable, that she's been caught in lies with the pipe and things like that. There are questionable things, but I'm not going to call her a scam artist in her situation that she's in. It's not going to happen. Now let's move on to let's move on to the Not So Evil Stepmother. I just want to say, Alex, that I think it's, if you ever watch this, I think it's commendable what you did. I wish I would have known you back when I was going through what I was going through, because I really needed a friend like you. And I think everything that you've done is so amazing. God bless you, and good karma is always going to come your way because of what you did. But the main thing I will tell you, and I will say, is emailing Radiant Britt was this. I'm sorry, I don't know what you were thinking when you did that. Like, that's probably the worst thing that you could have ever done. Like, emailing her was pointless, okay? But I just think it's commendable what you did, and honorable, and definitely you lead by example. And I will try to help as many people as I possibly can, because you motivate me to want to do that, Alex. And don't ever let what Self-Taught Beauty did deter you from wanting to help anybody else. Just know that in order to help anybody else, just remember your family comes first. I know you put a lot of things to the side for Mandy, but take this as a lesson learned, and don't do that. You know, don't turn down offers from companies and things like that, because at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your family. You know what I mean? And that's all I have to say about that. I don't have anything bad to say about the Not So Evil Stepmother. I don't know her, but I know that what she did is commendable, and I'm glad I found her because I will watch her content. I am subscribed to her. I don't know if I already did, but I will. And I think she's amazing for what she did. And I think Mandy made a mistake. I really, really do. Now, moving on. I don't know, you know, some of you guys already know my feelings about Radiant Brit. I don't think that she's a very nice person, and that's why I say I don't know why Alex chose to send her an email. And don't give me all that bullshit about once an email is sent to another person, that email is theirs to do whatever I don't give a shit. There's something called integrity. Okay, look it up in the dictionary if you don't know what it means. Quit making excuses for Radiant Brit, because that was foul what she did. Okay, she doesn't care about anybody but herself. Okay, every time I try to give her the benefit of the doubt, you know, I used to watch Radiant Brit. I was inspired by Radiant Brit. The more I watch her, and the reason why I have watched her is because of what's been going on now. I haven't watched her since this whole thing happened, but I used to be subscribed to her, and I seen the person that she was. And now it's like night and day. She's a completely different person. To sit there and use the excuse of, I need to share this email that Alex sent me because I have to do, you know, transparency. That is not transparency. Nobody cares about that. You did that for content for your channel, and you also did that to cause a riffraff between Tyra, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Tyra. You did that to cause a riffraff between the three of them, because you don't like Tyra, because Tyra doesn't like you, because she calls you out on your bullshit. And it's obvious that you're doing whatever it is that you can to prove that Self-Taught Beauty is a scammer. And I think, I'm not saying it was wrong. I just don't understand why the Not So Evil Stepmother felt it was necessary to reach out to Radiant Brit. Radiant Brit's intentions are not good in this whole situation. Her intentions are getting the exclusive to prove that Mandy is a scammer. Period. That's her intentions. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I don't want Mandy to end up ultimately being a scammer. I really hope that she's not. For the sake of the people who care about her and who have donated to her out of the kindness of their hearts, I hope she's not a scammer. If she is, obviously it needs to be called out. But I'm not hoping that she's a scammer just so I can use it for content on my channel. I'm not saying that Radiant Brit is a bad person. I'm just saying that compared to the way her commentary used to be, compared to the way it is now, I just don't think that she is a nice person. And one of the reasons why my feelings about Radiant Brit is confirmed is because, you know, you're reporting, or not reporting, but you're commentating on your channel about Mandy. And to me, it's not what she's saying, it's how she says it. To me, her delivery is fucked up. She comes off as very snobbish and very entitled and very like that would never happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the reasons why I unsubscribed to her long ago, because I never heard her saying anything positive about anybody. I remember one time she was talking about, you know, influencers that she likes, and she started talking about Carly Bible. And I like Carly Bible. I watch her sometimes. She's an OG. You gotta show that woman respect, okay? Especially if you love makeup and you've been in the makeup game like me, and as long as Carly Bible has, and how she worked her way up to success and things like that. Like, she's an OG. She's been around for a minute. So I really love watching her, and I love seeing how she's evolved, and she's about to have a baby. Did she have her baby? I don't know. But I have to look because it's been a while since I watched her. But I do adore her when I do watch. And she's talking about influencers that she likes, and she says she used to watch Carly Bible, but I stopped watching her because she tries too much to be like Kim Kardashian. A lot of women try to be like Kim Kardashian. Who gives a flying fuck? Okay? A lot of people do. I'm all for uplifting women, you guys, but the right kind of women. I'm not going to uplift a woman that puts down other women. I'm not going to do that. Just like people tell me about critical K. You're supposed to be uplifting women, and you just... If you want me to uplift Critical K, then tell Critical K to give me something to uplift. Okay? It's that simple. And it's the same thing with Radiant Brit. It's not what she says, it's how she says it. It's her delivery of the way she commentates, especially about sensitive subjects like self-taught beauty. You know, like, it's okay to be real and keep it 100, but you definitely need to convey yourself in a way and in a manner to where you're still empathizing with this woman, because you don't know if she's a scammer. All you know is there are questionable things. Everybody is so quick to prove this woman as a scammer, and I hope that she's not. I really do. But it's not the God, I'm trying to be as nice and respectable as I possibly can, y'all, because, you know, it's hard. It's just it's Radiant Brit's delivery. The way that she delivers things, the way that she talks about things, and especially sensitive subjects like this, she's very, very entitled and snobbish. Another reason why I unsubscribed from her is because she was making a comment about a vlogger and the way she raises her kids or something, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait a minute, does she have kids? Let me tell you right now, if you don't have kids, I don't want your unsolicited advice, because you don't know shit. Until you have a kid, you don't know shit about how it is. So don't ever give me any advice. And don't ever tell me what I'm supposed to be doing as a mother when you don't have kids of your own. That's just the way that I feel, you guys. Like, you know, like I said, I think that Radiant Brit is very, you know, classy. You know, how she presents herself on her channel and things like that. And I used to like watching her, but I don't like her delivery when it comes to a lot of things. I don't hear her saying positive things very often on her channel. And no, you know, it's just something that is very sad. It's very sad. But that's the way I feel about that whole thing with Radiant Brit and Tyra. I actually like Tyra. I've been binge watching her a lot. You know, I don't agree with everything she says about Radiant Brit, or, you know, everything she says about everything, but I like how she keeps it 100. I like the way she's very, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. I like that I don't give a fuck attitude. I like her. I don't agree with how her and Radiant Brit are going back and forth, because it's pointless, you know, but I really think by Alex sending Radiant Brit that email, it opened the door for Radiant Brit to read that email out loud and to basically uplift Alex while putting down Tyra, because that's convenient for her, because Tyra doesn't like her. They don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that perfect time. And even when Radiant Brit, that's another problem that I have with her, even when she did get the email, even the way that she acted about the email, you know, Alex saying, you know, you can reach out to me, I'm going to give you my number, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have to call her, but you still could have handled it nicer than what you did. Like, I don't want anything to do with YouTubers, you know. I don't want to be friends with other YouTubers, blah, 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 blah. I just don't think she gives a shit about anybody but herself. Those are the vibes that I get off of Radiant Brit, and, you know, that's not good. I'm willing to be friends with anybody, you know, and I've been bullied in high school too. I was bullied all through my 4 years of high school, and I was bullied by getting jumped by getting threatened to be jumped every day, getting my face cut up every day. These are threats that I was getting every single day. I was afraid to go in the lunchroom because it was me against 15 other girls, okay? But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that I'm not willing to give somebody else a chance as a friend, because I don't have many friends. And I'm not saying I want a whole bunch of friends, but I will be honest and say that I'm all for getting to know other people. I'm okay with that. And if something happens, then it's a lesson learned. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty good judge of character when I see somebody and if I feel like they're full of shit, then I'm not obviously going to give them the time of day. But sometimes I could be wrong, and I'm willing to take that chance. But that's really all I have to say about this, you guys. I'm not going to call this woman a scammer until I see solid proof. And when I do, and if any proof comes out, I will obviously talk about this again, and I will continue to talk about this if there's any updates. And to be honest with you, if you guys want more like elaboration on this whole thing, there was a person that I found a lot of great YouTubers by doing research on self-taught beauty, and Wildflower Gypsy, I feel like, handled this with the utmost integrity, in my opinion. She commentated on this. She's a commentary channel. She commentated on this, but she reached out to Self-Taught Beauty, you know what I mean, which I feel like was very honorable of her. I just feel like she handled this very well, and she wasn't judgmental towards Self-Taught Beauty at all. And I liked her whole delivery and the way that she commentated on this whole situation. So I will link her channel down below as well. I might link other channels too. Sometimes I forget, y'all. I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this. This is just such a huge mess and turned into a circus, you know. And another thing I want to say is one of the reasons why I'm even saying or mentioning anything about Radiant Brit is because she has done 9 videos about, maybe more, about self-taught beauty. So no matter how much she may not want to be involved, she's involved. She involved herself. When you do 9 videos about a specific person, you're involving yourself. And, you know, one of the biggest things I know is she has questions. I have questions. And hopefully one day those questions will get answered. But I don't, and I won't, call this woman a scammer until there is more proof. But what I will say, and I want to stress this, is people need to quit enabling this woman, because she can be comfortable in that shed. I don't care what anybody says. You know, when you dig yourself so far, you know, when you're so far in the hole, thinking about everything that you have to do, you can get comfortable with getting donations from your supporters, getting food from, you know, the government, and just being happy with that, for sure. And she is very blatant about, she tries to be, you know, very happy and positive, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And I also think that she is very good at makeup. When she does her makeup, absolutely beautiful. And I love Self-Taught Beauty. I love her smile. It's very almost unbelievable to think that, you know, she is somewhat homeless, because her teeth are beautiful. Like, you guys see how white her teeth is? I gotta do something about her teeth. Look at my teeth. They're definitely not that white. No. I want to end it on a positive, and I think, oh my gosh, her teeth are gorgeous. And that's it, you guys. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel before you leave if you haven't already. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this video. Leave some comments down below, and I'll see y'all in the comments, okay? Keep it respectful, okay? Anything disrespectful will be deleted. And if it's nasty, you will be blocked. I'm not putting up with that bullshit anymore, and you'll see that be elaborated more on my next video after this one. And I love y'all. Always remember that you are beautiful, you're flawless, your imperfections is what make you flawless and unique. Embrace yourself, embrace everything about you, and just know that life gets hard sometimes. Just smile. Smile through the bullshit. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.